All right, everybody. So I gave a little teaser earlier, but the official early prototype, kind of a pre-look at Legends of Novus, has arrived. This is from Ningbo eStar, the games company that also mass-produced um, Nemesis and is currently producing Tainted Grail. So excited to be able to work with them to be able to bring to you Legends of Novus. Now, this isn't the full game, but it does give most of the components a tactile visual of what they will look like. So we'll go through and look at each. The most dominating aspect, of course, of any game is the box. And this is designed to be, I believe, 3 inches deep, so you can see there. And then we've got a fair bit of width, I believe 9 by 12. So nice big box to hold all the wonderful contents that'll be coming in the game. The outsides of the box will get a little touch up. I've got to make sure I add a barcode, number of players, those other icons that are necessary. But the top of the box, other than maybe the words changing locations a bit, will remain the same. We just want that clean visual of Osira, the Sea Hydra. And of course, the company logo, artist name, my name will just kind of reposition things. But I love how Andrea kind of positioned the serpent heads all around, so no matter which way you look at it, you see that awesome artwork, and of course the logo. We'll just add a few things on the sides. Before we open the box, the cards themselves haven't been shipped. What they did is they sent a visual of what the cards will print out like, just to see how all the red lines or the cut lines work and make sure everything is within. So first off, we've got the page of the adventure cards, and those have the least amount of visual because they're mostly the icons, and that's also because they spend the least amount of time on the tabletop. So it's designed to be in your hand and just usually a quick play or a discard or things like that. The adventure cards aren't as active in the game as rewards or creature cards might be. But they did all come out at the right size, so they're all uniform. We've got the black line around. Just due to not enough of a bleed, we had to come up with a border to support the cards, but you still see them in all their visuals there. The text is there, it's easy to read. The flavor text on the bottom of the card still comes across quite well within the border line. So overall, I'm quite pleased with how this preview looks. We may reduce the size of that black border to have it to a minimum, because really want to maximize the image of the cards there. And as we flip through, the other thing it guarantees is that on these pages that the card backs also match up with the card fronts, which is kind of important. So I'll be going through and just making sure every card does indeed match up there. So it's all on this massive sheet of paper here. You can see how the creature encounter deck will look. So we've got the again, the slight black border around. It does take away from that full art visual I was originally going for, and if there's any way I can avoid that and bring it back, I will, just within the confines of time and graphic design aspects. We'll see if that's possible. But there you have those. A lot of this art is getting updated as we speak. As you know, you've seen some of the new images already coming through. One of the things that I changed was the token design, or the ally design. So originally the allies I had looking like a creature or a reward, but given the fact that the allies don't actually need any text, all they do is give you combat support, decided to go with the full art visual of the savage bear and of the feral wolf. So normally those are creatures that you would encounter in the game, but the idea of taking one of them to your side as an ally I thought was kind of cool, so kind of incorporated those into a full-size image, just showing that it gets equipped on an item slot and is worth 2 combat. Really simple add-on to your character board. Next up, we have the character cards. So the character cards, as we talked about, are simplified to a regular poker size card and landscape, and just really shows them in all their fine detail by Andrea, and just has their class icon and their title. So very simple card. And then on the back side, we would see just their little story there. So for example, when we proof this, we can see that the card for Fabian unfortunately has the back for Morty, so I know right now I've got to fix up that template, and that's why it's so important to get these early prototype copies so that you don't end up getting cards that are completely misaligned. But that'll be easy to fix and define. Just a matter of doing the mirror image thing that might have been required. All right, so that's that. And then the reward cards came out quite well. As you can see the text, we can see the description, you can see the gold pieces, the equipping value, the flavor text. It's all showing just like it did on the cards. So good to see that it's the template that I provided them has worked out. And then the black border again may thin that out a bit. And a lot of these have been updated. You're going to see a lot of new reward art today. If you're watching this video, that'll be released at the same time. So the wizard's robe has been updated, the wooden club, the small shield, all that stuff is now in Andrea's format of art. So there you have it. That's the early preview of the cards. There's that made in China symbol right up there. And so this was shipped by air this week. But let's get inside the box, shall we? So I do have it designed so that when you lift the box, there's going to be no visual on the inside of the box lid, but on the inside of the box sides, I thought it'd be a good way to feature some of the location art directly on the box. So you get a bigger visual of some of the art. There's Eisenthrax there staring at you. There's that cool sword and staff image that Andrea put together. And Kane, he's one of the most iconic visuals of the game, especially with that Novus icon that Andrea put together. So there's the outside of the box. Looking inside, first off we have the standees. This is one that I'm going to increase the size of, working with the manufacturer. I think I supplied a template that was half the intended size, so these should be 2 inches tall, but right now they're sitting at 1 inch tall. And that's the character standees. But just envision those double the size. You still see all the full color art, and those will be used to traverse the map. And of course included in that, we'll put one together with you. Watch out for this screen, it's going to tip down for a sec. But you haven't lost me, I'm still around. Really on the fly video here. But we'll put Vin, one of my favorite images, for characters. There we go. So the standee, you can picture that a little bit bigger, but that would be Vin there. So right now it's not much taller than the tip of my finger. We'll double that size up, so it really represents well. So that is the standee there. All right. Next up we'll have the dial. So the dial is going to be snapped together. So we've just got the visual of the dial to make sure that you can see how it would work. But you can see here we've got Eisenthrax on one side, and that would spin around, the numbers lined up inside. And then on the opposite side, when it's put together, there would be Osira. So it's going to be a disc on either side, and this will spin round and round. This is for solo play, and of course there'll be a centerpiece that holds it together. So there's that. Next up, we'll have a look at these are called the quest creature tiles. So quest creature tiles have a quick summary of the quest creature's backstory on the back, whether it's Asmakai or Sistos. Fair size of thickness there. So even though I reduced the size for cost control, it's really thick. It's about the size of at least 4 poker cards, if not more, and durable, right? So if you hit it, you can hear the sound of that. So good quality there. That was one of the stretch goals, is to go from a card format to a tile format. And the color came across quite well. This one does have the full art because we had enough bleed to make that work. So you can see Sistos, a spider, scorpion. Text comes through cleanly, so do the iconography, and even the map all came across as intended. So I really love how they put that quality together. The art shines quite well with these larger size tiles. I like how that one shows up in the light there. That's the Krager Beast. That one has a little bit of off-cutting there, so I have to make sure that that template is right. Kismatic. Eisenthrax, another stretch goal there. You guys unlocked. The biggest baddie of them all. There's Monsignius, the original biggest baddie before Eisenthrax was unlocked. Kronig, the ice giant. And Juragon, the jungle worm. Don't want to get stuck in that maw. And finally, the cover art for the game itself, Osira, the sea hydra. So again, I think the quality there is there. It's thick, durable. These things are going to last a long time. Throw them across the table, pass them around. And then there'll be one promo tile that'll be included just to finish off the set, because I believe it's a set of 4 per sheet, or 12. So the map will be on one side, and this was originally going to be on this side, but I'm going to change that. This is going to be a Legend of Novus kind of a pride card. And so what I mean by that is, if you win the game and you want to share your story with people on the internet or social media, this will instead change to I'm a Legend of Novus or something like that. So you can take a selfie if you wish. All right, next up we have the location guide. This was printed in the wrong size, so this is going to be 8.5 by 11. It looks a bit smaller right now, but when it's printed, just like the one I have on the print and play, you'll have 4 locations per page, and all the descriptions and iconography. It looks like it's in place there. The sheets on the right are a little bit off, so I may have to work on that to see if I can get that full circle over just a little bit. But everything else turned out well. So that's the location guide. We've got the rule book here. This will be a 20-page rule book in the final format. This one here is 16 pages, but I am going to add those extra 4 pages so that we have the quick reference combat sheet, the thank you page, the icon page, and the glossary are the 4 pages that will get added to this. But the color turns out well. Feels clean. It's got a stable spine. When you unfold it, the legibility is there. The color is good. There's no straying on the rulebook itself. And I've had this rulebook proofread by many individuals. If you are interested in doing another proofread and letting me know if there's anything you can see that stands out that needs improvement, not in this particular one that I'm flipping over, but the latest version is more updated than this, then always welcome to that extra feedback. I know God Kaiser has given me quite a bit of feedback on it, and there's another backer who contacted me directly via email that gave me a proofread, so really appreciative of that. Next up is the folding board. So this is the quad fold board, 16 inches by 16 inches, if you have a look here. And the color really came through so much better than the first board I made through the Game Crafter, due to a lightening of the art and just a proper RGB or CMYK finish. So it shines quite well. You can see the icons and the words very clearly, like the quest creature icon, travel icon, encounter icon. They all stand out quite well. Like any quad fold board, having it sit flat can have its challenges, but I'm sure gamers have their ways to work around that. And that is the board. Now, for those of you who backed the neoprene mat, that should be shipping any time now, and that's a great way to expand your size. Instead of it being 16 inches, it's a 20-inch neoprene mat. So, all right, then we have the tokens. So I have not punched out my token board yet, but it'll come unpunched just like this, so you can see it all put together. And kind of an add-on that wasn't even mentioned in the Kickstarter was the add-on of the quest creature tokens. And I thought this would be a good thing to be able to position right on the map, so that you can always see what quest creature is at what location. And you can see on the back, if you are victorious, you can just flip it over to that icon, or put it on your player board. And then the rest of the icons are double-sided. So the money and the travel icons and whatnot, those are all double-sided. So we'll see here, we'll even spit them out live. There we've got the 5, the 10, and the 25 tokens. They're all going to be 3 different sizes. And so you can accrue this money in different ways in the game. Easy to tell which is which and be able to do trade. And there's enough money there in the 25s and even the giant 50s that even 5 players that the game goes up to should have no problem with running out of money. The travel icon, the travel token, got the wrong back, so it looks like the mirror image didn't work as intended, so that'll be fixed. But the travel icon is for Fabian, and that's for his special ability. The horseshoe icon is the luck icon, and that's what allows you to reroll a die once in the game. And then the question mark icon is the explore icon. So if you put that underneath your standee, if you don't want to tip over your standee, it represents that you're exploring. But all of these come in a high quality finish. You can see that gloss there. There's no char on the side like you might get with certain laser cut ones, and yeah, it's really bright and fair thickness as well. So I like those. Turned out well, just like I wanted. And finally, the most iconic part of the game itself is the dual layer character boards. So there are going to be 5 of these included in the game. They're fairly thin, and that allows for cheaper shipping and for just easier to handle. But the character board will fold out, and there's going to be 5 different colors, so you can see those on the print and play that'll be submitted soon. And you'll see here the dual layer goes on both sides of the board now. So this dual layer here is just a circle under each, and that is got no purpose in the game at this point. It's more of a tactile thing, but in the future that could be a way to work with an expansion. So if something circular could fit in here, there's a certain mechanic I was thinking of that could work well in an expansion. So I pre-designed this board to be able to be used for a future expansion mechanic. So you can see that dual layer there. It's about the thickness of a card. So we've got the skills, and just in the faded you can still see that it is Legends of Novus for the game in case you're doing any screenshots or anything in the future. And then of course here you can see that dual layer exists there. It might be hard to see due to the coloring, but the dual layer exists there to hold the character class card and the character image card. So those won't slide around. And then there are spots indented here. So if I have my token in there, it won't slide around. That holds the coins. Actually, we'll take out the token so you can see. Long video, apologize. But that luck token fits nicely in there. Or I guess the Explorer token will go in there, luck token in there. So there you go. That's a new addition to the character board. And of course, where the cubes go. I don't have the cubes with me, but you've seen in the other playthroughs, if you watched them, that dual layer board was originally intended just for those cubes. And so when you put a cube there, it won't slide around. So that's the character board. 5 of those coming in the game. I only got 1 shipped with the prototype. They just want to make sure it looks right before assembling the rest. And that is it. That is the prototype. And I think for the most part things are on track. There's a few card alignments to fix just for the mirroring, getting that right. And same with the tokens, getting the token mirroring right. But really like how the quest creature tokens turn out. It's just the art reduced in size to fit within that circular image and the icon on the back. So if you have any comments at all, feel free to share. If you like what you see, if you don't like what you see, if you have suggestions before mass production. This thing isn't ready quite to mass produce yet, but we're getting closer and closer and still well on track for that April delivery date. Oh, I guess I could show you the back of the box too. So there you go, the back of the box image. I may increase the font size a little bit, work with the wording. Might put the image of this on the update, and you guys can give me some thoughts on what you'd like to see on the back of it. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll share some other information on the written part of the update, and look forward to next Friday's update when we have something else new and exciting to share with you. Have a great day.